Harper Radio. Radio done differently.
Welcome to Global Education Unpacked, podcast where we explore global learning. I gotta memorize this at some point, where it comes alive in college classrooms. And I'm your host, Maury Lapidus, and today we have three incredible guests. We're gonna have to switch mics a little bit. Eric Bohman, faculty advisor, and faculty here, I wanna introduce you. I don't actually know what you teach.
Yeah, sure. I teach in liberal arts, so I work with English and ESL, English as a second language. So
Okay.
every day is global for me.
Every day is global for you. And we have Danielle, and then we have Corwin, who has graduated from Harper, and Danielle is just finishing her social transformation capstone projects, and Corwin already finished her project, and we're going to hear about that because it's fantastic what she's doing with that now. So we'll be talking about impact of global education, real world projects that drive social change, and where these what these experiences mean to our faculty and to our students. So I'm really excited to have students here. It's fantastic to have students here to talk about what you're doing and just what you're taking out of classes and bringing it to the real world and to yourselves. I always find that the best kind of information that people want to hear about what actually happens and how lives are transformed through different projects. So I'm excited about that. The show is recorded and streamed through WHCM Radio at Harper College, produced by Matt Byrne, and our theme music is by DJ Double Dip, and the song is Mint. You can find it anywhere on all of your music sources that you have. So we'll start with Eric for you with right now. So give us a quick overview of what Global Scholars Program is, who it's for, and talk about the stage projects.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So the Global Scholars distinction is something that Harper College students can earn. They would take two courses from a set of courses that have a global infusion in their curriculum, and then they would take the final social transformation capstone course. And in the capstone course, which I teach, the students would be going through a reflective process. So we do an e-portfolio where they look at their past experiences of coursework they've done at Harper, as well as their lived experiences. A lot of our students have really rich lived experiences that they're able to tap into that provide the background for what would be their final capstone project. And then from there we do case studies to kind of explore the topic. And then finally they put together a proposal, and proposal is very similar to what you might do with a doctoral dissertation. It's of that kind of a small down version of it, but it has the same type of academic kind of discipline that's required. They have to do an annotated bibliography instead of a lit review, but you're also having to talk about the format that you're going to use for your project and why you think it's going to get the outcome that you are seeking. And you're also working with a faculty mentor, which you're also familiar with.
I am, because I am one, but I don't know how good I am, but because I'm like annotated bibliographies. I haven't done that since college.
So it's doing scholarly work at a pretty high level at a community college, and these are students that are really incredibly passionate about a particular project they want to do. What's kind of unique with it is, in many cases, when students take courses at a college, they're kind of in a set curriculum that they have to do whatever is the outcome that's set by the instructor. But in this case, they get to kind of explore what they're really passionate about and then making that into a final project, as long as it's meeting one of the outcomes for social justice or global scholars, depending on which distinction that they're going to do. I'm also really proud to say that we're going to be having a new distinction coming out now, as a sustainability distinction.
Yes.
So that will also be under the stage umbrella. So we'll have all of these different graduate distinctions, and a lot of the projects that the students do kind of overlap with a lot of those areas. And we're hoping eventually to have also one on identity in the future, but so some possibilities for more distinctions coming up.
Absolutely. I'm really excited about the sustainability one as well. When we had our makerspace, one of our projects was trying to convert all that plastic that we use to 3D print and reuse it so that it could be reusable. So totally a passion of mine. I'm really excited about the sustainability coming, and just having that topic at school, and, you know, thinking about that as a college, not just like, oh, sustainability, whatever, like we have a recycling bin. No, like really thinking about sustainability
Yeah.
at the school, you know, and I think that's important.
And Danielle's project is really along those lines, so
Okay.
you'll hear from her a little later
Yes.
with that related to sustainability.
Absolutely. So I think you've kind of covered some of the questions I have, but how do you see these you know what, maybe we should talk to the students and then we can finish up and you can add to the, because I think some of these questions are really tied to them, because we want to see what happens with their personal growth and, you know, shaping who they are and, you know, the impression that they have after they complete. So I'm going to start with you, and I'm going to go to my next set of questions that I had. So, whichever one of you would like to start, Danielle or Corbin, why did you decide to do a social transformation capstone project? Why did you want to go for the distinction, and why did you decide to do one?
Sure, I can go first. So my big reason for going for the social justice capstone was because I have children who fall into the minority categories. They are BIPOC, they are neurodiverse, they are LGBTQ+. I myself identify along the spectrum as well. And I saw such big discrepancies that exist in our society, especially nationwide. And it was just something that I figured if I sit around and complain about it, I can do something about it. And when I met with Professor Bentley to talk about the distinction, I absolutely fell in love with it, and actually had to petition him. I did not have enough credits at first to go for the capstone, and I had to ask him and Dr. V to please let me in, and they did. And with recommendation of my mentor and my teachers, I was able to do it while concurrently finishing my coursework for social justice. But I absolutely fell in love with the field. It's something very deep in my heart that I care about and I live every day. And so that we have that here at Harper, it just made sense. If I didn't do it, it would have been ridiculous.
Well, so you have a lot of personal connections. So what have you done? What was your project? What did you do?
So my project was Equity Connect. It was advancing mutual aid through advocacy and access. And so I established mutual aid pantries, both digitally and in person, to repurpose resources that we could acquire. So no grant funding, nothing that we were able to use money on, just being able to find resources that would have gone to waste otherwise that are desperately needed in the community, and give them to the communities who are suffering the most. So our marginalized community members, our BIPOC, LGBTQ, and women are a big piece of that as well, and our diverse population.
So where do you get these resources?
So a lot of
For free.
A lot of it was just asking. So there were big corporations, and now it's a little different now, I can tell you. But if you ask, they will give. So if you say, hey, I'm working on this project, I want to establish a mutual aid pantry, I'm trying to assist people in the community, we were getting big donations from big corporations that were giving me toiletries, they were giving me menstrual products, they were giving me pregnancy prevention, anything that I asked for, I was able to find. And it's different now under the new DEA regulations, or DEIA regulations, but when I was doing the project, it was such a foot in the door that people are so willing to give and to help if given the opportunity.
I think that's like the key thing about all of us, right? It's always like the only thing you can expect when you ask for something, like, is, well, what's the worst thing you can say is no.
Exactly.
Right? And most people don't say no when you ask them for stuff. Like in life, in general, right? Like when you ask people, like if you need help and you ask people, most people will help.
That's my mentor is Professor Lavanya Williams, who I idolize. I think she's one of the most amazing people I've ever met. And she told me, you need to let go of the fear of the no. If they say no, it's not a rejection, it's a no, and you move on.
Right.
And that reshaped my whole way of thinking, and actually catapulted the project forward because I got out of my head.
Yes. So you're doing the project now. You're done with school. You've graduated in December, yes?
Yes.
And so you're continuing this project.
I did. So I actually put it into my profession. So Equity Connect became a huge part of my nonprofit, and we are now partnered with different mental health organizations and churches, and we are establishing physical pantries as well as the digital to help people who need it the most. So you don't have to decide between your mental health copay and getting medication, getting frozen meals, getting toiletries. You can just go in, take what you need, no one asks questions, and then also get the care that you need to receive.
That's fantastic. It's such an exciting thing that you went and you did this project in school and took it out of school and continued on. Very entrepreneurial. I'm very happy about that.
I'm very lucky for the teachers
Yes.
that I had. Professor Bentley, Dr. B, Professor Williams, and Professor Maham Khan were honestly like some of the best people, and without them, I would not have had that entrepreneurial spirit. So I credit it to them.
Oh, well, I'm sure they appreciate the kudos, but I'm sure you have it in you to have that drive to keep moving forward and, working on your project. That's fantastic. I totally think that that's awesome. I'll ask you, and then you can think about this while she's answering this question. So if your project had a soundtrack, what would the song be? Because we're on the radio, right? So what would it be? What would be the soundtrack of your project?
I know it's going to sound so basic, but Taylor Swift, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart, because our community has suffered and struggled so much, but I still was showing up. I was doing it every single day. Despite the struggles my kids were having, despite the struggles I was having, I was still showing up. I was still doing it with a smile on my face. I was still going, knocking door to door, asking for the resources, and I still was able to complete it, even on the worst day. Even through statistics and astronomy, I was able to do it. But I think that would have been the song because, it's just a testament to our resolve as social justice, distinction, and global scholar students. Is we get up and we put the work in. We wouldn't have signed up for
Absolutely.
this if we didn't want to.
Oh, awesome. That's awesome. I love it. I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan. There's probably a couple of songs, and I don't really know her songs, but I like the title already, so we're all good. We're all good. All right, Danielle, we're going to move on to you and ask you, how did you decide to join the distinction and to go into the Scholars Program, and what is your project about?
So I actually didn't even know about the distinction. I was mainly taking online classes, and I had failed sociology twice. So then third time around, now we have Rate My Professor, so I wanted to find a good teacher that I thought I would actually pay attention to. And so I accidentally signed up for a social justice version of sociology. And then that's what I got an email saying, hey, you've signed up for this. If you take so many, you can join the capstone and get this distinction. So I've always been interested into social justice, and it was cool that they reached out to me because I had no idea that was a thing that we had. But I will say, do pay attention to your course numbers. I am graduating late because I did not know. I signed up for the social justice version of Speech 101. I took Speech 101 10 years ago, so now I'm behind 3 credits because I took the class twice. But it's been really interesting to take. But my project, I'm an art major, so I wanted to try to incorporate that into my project somehow. So I'm focusing on the overconsumption of fast fashion and how bad that is, not just for the environment, but like the economy and for people in general. It's a pretty big project, but I'm very much a visual learner, and my piece is only like 5 pounds, but like, I'm not gonna unfold it because there's like 24 garments that I ripped up in here, and it makes this giant mural. But
I posted it on social media, so if people want to see it, you can see it on Instagram and on LinkedIn. So you can see the project that Danielle did.
Surprisingly, it all fits into this bag and then a tiny little bit into another box. But I wanted it to be a visual representation because it was alarming to me that the average American throws out over 80 pounds of clothing every year, and I don't. So that means there are other people throwing away more than that to compensate for my lack of throwing out.
Wow.
So if you think that this is only 5 pounds, that's only 1/16 of what the average American throws out. So I just really wanted that visual.
And this is throwing away, not just donating it.
Throwing away.
Throwing into the landfills.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow. I did not realize how bad it was.
So, and I'm definitely I definitely overconsume myself, so this was something. I mainly shop at thrift stores though, but I still am over-consuming, and I know I'm taking away from other families that probably need those clothes more than me. So that's part of the reason why I wanted to look into this project, because I did learn about overconsumption in my sociology class, and that was something that I never even thought about, and how we actually are being taken advantage of. They're doing mind tricks on us to believe that we need things that we don't. So.
Well, and I think it's not even just needing things that we don't. We don't think about repurposing things, right? It used to be, and I remember growing up, old pair of underwear became a rag, right? We don't do that anymore. We actually buy rags, right? Do we really need to buy rags, or can we reuse an old T-shirt, an old whatever that you don't, because that material still can be used for something else, but people don't think about it because we're just so used to, in our society, well, you can have this convenient product, and it's not very expensive. Right, you can buy rags and they're not super expensive. You can buy things to use like that, and we don't think about that. And I think that is super important. Fashion is kind of like my second kind of favorite thing, and I've read books and whatever on different fashions, and I like, when I found out how much water is used to make a pair of jeans. And I'm like this water conservation that we have going on, like the jeans are an issue, and we need to figure out how to do that, because that is consuming more water than anything else. Like, even if you use your water, don't turn it off when you brush your teeth, but you buy a pair of jeans, like, all your conservation that you did there does not even match to what you need to do for that pair of jeans that you have. And people do jeans now as fast fashion. They really throw away a lot of jeans. And those jeans were created to last forever.
Right.
That material is supposed to last forever. Like, you're supposed to keep your jeans, and you don't have to wash them as often as well. Like, and people, and I'm probably very guilty of this, like washing your clothes all the time, because, that's what we're used to. And so I'm like, I love your project. I cannot wait to hear about it tonight. So you want to tell us what's happening tonight?
Yeah, jump on here. Yeah, so in E107, we'll be having our capstone vinyl showcase. So that'll be from 5 to 8. So the community's welcome to come out and check out these wonderful presentations. I tell you, in my 25 years of working at Harper, this has been the best experience teaching this course. So
yeah. Oh, I'm jealous.
Everyone's going to walk away feeling a lot better,
right,
for the future.
Yes.
in the hands of these students and moving forward.
That's fantastic. So, what is going to be the theme song of your project? What would it be?
All I can really think of is this song called "Sonder" by the Rex, and it's about how everybody lives like as much of a real experience in life as you do. And because I feel like when it comes to fast fashion, I've talked about it with friends and family before who shop at Shein, and they say, well, if I didn't pay for it, somebody else would have bought it anyway, so it's not that big of a deal. And it's easy to brush off things that we don't visually see, because we're not the ones making the clothing that are slaves and not making enough money, but like to actually acknowledge that other people, like, those are real lives. Like, don't just turn a blind eye to it. Understand that that's actually a real thing, and you can't just always. I just hate when people are like, the environment doesn't matter because I'm not seeing the consequences now. That's for people in the future. Well, those people in the future are real people.
Yes, absolutely. And I think that attitude of like, oh, well, somebody else will buy it. Well, not if we all make an effort. Right, and then you have to start somewhere. You have to start smaller and to think, so, making an effort. And every time I throw out the garbage, I always think, like, we should be able to do better. Like, where is this going? And then I'm like, and some things I have to. Like, my building doesn't recycle certain things, so I have to throw them away. And I'm like, but like, how far am I going to drive to recycle, right? Because that's gasoline that pollutes the air, and your car and whatever else. Like, it's just, everything is just so much. It feels so overwhelming. So it's nice to have a project where you just start. You got to start somewhere. That's how I feel with all of that, right? And I'm so excited that you guys are making an impact. So, what do you guys do besides school and projects while you're done with school to unwind?
So I honestly, I will tell you, I started a nonprofit org, so I'm not unwinding in this administration. You can catch me in 2027, maybe I'll be unwinding. But for the most part, when I'm not actively doing things, I'm just spending time with my kids, because my kids are my entire life. My kids are the most fun people that I know. My 12-year-olds act like litigators. They are lawyers to me. My 4-year-old is the happiest little ball of sunshine. And so they're what keep me grounded, what keep me going, and honestly the best part of my day. Sometimes it's the worst part of my day. I'll be an honest parent, but they're the best and worst part of every single day.
I've been there. I totally relate. How about you, Danielle?
I don't know. Ever since I turned 30, I'm kind of going through my second quarter life crisis. I went through one at 25, but now I realize my back's hurting, so I'm trying to go to as many concerts and music festivals as I can while I still can.
Excellent. That's what we want to hear. Have our music, right, like we want our art station actually has been in the Reader. We're like one of the top 5 radio stations in Chicago, but our thing is that we play a lot of local artists. So if you listen to the station or you look them up, we have a lot of local artists. So if you want to go hear them live, they're all around, all available, and happy to see people. So what would you tell other students who maybe are thinking about the distinction or don't know about the distinction of, the Global Scholar distinction or the social justice one or sustainability coming up? What would you tell them, to do? How would you get them involved?
I don't know. I feel like it's just something that you have to already have a passion for. But I mean, even if not, it's cool just to do the research. Decide on something that you want to learn more about, because I feel like you're going to get closer to it the more you research it for the project.
Absolutely.
I would tell them to dream big, but dream rationally is a big thing, because we want to make such a big impact in the world, but it is very overwhelming when we do not see the larger focus. Like, you have X amount of time to complete something, and you can absolutely make an impact and make a difference. But you need to think rationally, or you will discourage yourself, or you can stop halfway through. So dream big, but dream rational, and lean into your mentors. Like, pick your mentor very wisely. Pick the person you align with, who aligns with your goals, who aligns with your vision, because having a good mentor is all the difference. Like, I could cry to my mentor. I laughed with my mentor. I took on a co-mentor on accident in one of my classes. And honestly, you need that support. So don't think it's you against the world. It's you on a team with a vision, and you have people who are there to help you.
That's awesome. I think, I think it's very difficult for people, wherever they are in life, to find mentorship, because it's hard to ask for it, and it's hard to find somebody who you think would be a good mentor and who has time for you, right? And so I think that has been lacking. I think that lacks in the corporate world, because I don't think there's mentorship. There's a lot of competition, and it's hard to find that mentor to get you to the next level, right? And so I think that's fantastic that you have that part of the program, because then you have to go through that process of asking somebody and finding somebody who will be a mentor. And I think that's really important. That's a really good life skill, to keep asking for mentorship as you go along, because there's so many people around who have all of this knowledge and can't help. Right, and that's definitely.
Yeah, I would say the mentorship aspect of the capstone is, I think, one of the kind of the unique things about it.
Yeah.
And we do kind of make sure that that's really at the forefront at the beginning of the semester, that, they start to, as they're doing those reflections in their e-portfolio, start thinking about what were those faculty members that were most influential for you as you went on this journey, right? Who do you think you can connect to? It's like Corbin was saying. And I really encourage the students to dream big and allow the mentors to kind of work with you to kind of bring them in. I mean, one of our capstone students talked about their mentor being their realer inner, so, and that's, what's realistic to do within, but always, I think it's important to always keep the bigger goal in mind, because what's happening with, and Corbin's a great example, right? Their project now has become an extension of their work, right? And so we're seeing this with a lot of other students have done the same thing. Like, they've gone on and they've continued. We have a current capstone student who's now working with the U.S. Congress on the project that they did for their capstone on transnational repression. We have another one that's doing like a federal grant. Hopefully it's still being funded, about global warming in the South Pacific. But I mean, reaching out with other nation states, something that they had done as their capstone project. So, there's some phenomenal work both happening also here locally at Harper, too. I mean, we had one of our students did a whole Get Out the Vote campaign that then was taken up by Harper and incorporated on their website.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we have another one with the community garden that was done the same way.
Yes.
And creating signage to talk about the indigenous uses of the plants that are in the garden, right? So these are all these impacts that are happening just from these projects, but dream big and then have those longer goals that they can reach out and continue to do.
Yes. So 2 classes, how do you know which ones are designated as these classes that are for the scholars?
So Global Scholars, like I said, they have a list of classes that have global components within the curriculum that
So
are
is this
assigned.
the World Cultures and Diversity
Right. So
designation?
yeah,
Okay, so
like
those
if you take
classes would have those.
like a world language, for example. If you take language and
global
culture,
business.
global business that you teach, right? So all of those then meet
Yes.
those criteria,
Yes.
right? With social justice, they're designated sections of existing courses. So that's
Okay.
what Danny came
Yeah.
across was a sociology course that happened to be a social justice section. So social justice is done a little bit differently
Okay.
because they're taking existing courses and then taking a social justice perspective on it. And then the faculty have to go through a series of training to develop their curriculum, and then they present to an advisory board
Okay.
for approval, and then from that, then it becomes implemented in part of the curriculum. And right now, I think this fall, I think we have a record number of about 20 different offerings, including in our fall, our very first first-year seminar that will be a social justice focus, that will be taught by Lavanya Williams, which was Corvin's mentor, and also receiving an honor here tomorrow at Harper. So.
Oh, yes, yes. So, can you describe a little bit about the training that the faculty get? And how do they sign up for that? And what is our social justice distinction that we have for faculty as well? It's not just for students, we also have that for
Right,
faculty.
we have faculty staff, social justice leadership
Yes.
certification that they go through. So it's a 1-year program where they also are paired up with a mentor. That's someone else who's graduated from the program.
Okay.
And they design something. And many of those projects have now gone on and have influenced what's happening at Harper. I did that particular program, and one of those things kind of ended up me getting involved with the capstone.
Okay.
So that's how I got involved with that, was from my work in the leadership certificate.
Yes. So we do both at Harper. We train our faculty, and we also train our students to have those different, global social justice, against sustainability, all of that, those distinctions that we have. So I think that's really exciting to have, kind of like a full spectrum of that. It's not only for students, we also have faculty who if they want to get involved, they're more than welcome to do that.
Yeah, and then being just part of a mentorship
Yes.
with the students. They're so invested in it, and you'll see that tonight. From 5 to 8, you'll see the mentors show up and
Yes.
cheer them on. And I've had mentors come up after me and just say how wonderful the experience was. They would love to do it again, and some of them have tears in their eyes.
Yes.
It's like so glad to see.
I'm
this
excited
kind
for
of-
my mentee.
Yeah.
I'm excited to see how she does today. It's going to be fun to watch, and I'm excited to see all the projects. I think it's very interesting with all the projects. So, when did you know during your projects that, okay, yes, I'm making a difference?
I don't know if mine hasn't had as big of an audience yet, because mine's just an art project. I went on to Nextdoor to ask neighbors for clothing to donate for it, and the ones that donated have asked to see it, so I got to tell them about the project that way, and then just posting it on social media for my friends too. But other than that, as Dr. B was saying that he's going to ask us later tonight if we think that our project did its job. I don't think mine has yet, but I don't know, maybe if I become because I want my art in general, I'm trying to do art that's focused on causes. So maybe if I go anywhere with my art, then it'll have it's not nearly much of an impact as yours is.
Well, I think you need time.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You'll have time. You need some time. You're in the beginning of your project. So I stay strong. I believe in your project. Very much so. Very much so.
And I would say even just starting, that's an impact. It's an impact you don't realize yet. So the realization will come, but the impact is there. So don't sell yourself short. That's because I felt the same way. I was like, is this even working? Like, I don't, like, I have a website and I have stuff, like, I don't know. But it was when requests started coming in for items. And people would request it. I have a form, like a what do you need kind of form, like let us know what you need. And the stories that people would send me and would tell me, and I was like, oh, this is actually making a difference, because people would say, thank you, I have a child who is my foster child, and I didn't know what hair care products to get, but you have like a whole explanation of what this is and how to use it, and I don't have to go and get it because everything's so expensive, and I'm not getting any assistance from the state, and I don't know what to do. And so there were so many stories that would come in of people who just needed, and you realize you're making an impact just by existing, by having somebody, even to write in a box, like, this is what's happening to me, and I know someone's reading it, and can we help everybody? No, but it is, again, it's the impact later, because you start to take steps of how do we improve it, how do we do better, and that's been a process over time. It's been, 5 months now of a process, but that impact was when stories did come in, and that, to me, I would share with my mentor. I'd just be sitting like, this is so hard. She's like, stick it out, you got this, we can do this. I'm like, okay, we'll do this.
Well, and I would say, probably that's just my little recommendation here as a marketing faculty, but, stick those stories on your website.
We write them in our grants. Is where we put them. We put them in our testimonials for now when we're doing big things, and now we can get people to finance those, because it's not just a capstone. But we put those testimonials in. We ask for permission. We get pictures, and it makes all the difference. Like, that helps a lot of what we do now.
Absolutely. That's fantastic. So, 3 words. How would you describe your experience?
I would.
I know, I'm putting you on the spot like a faculty would.
I would say heartwarming, tedious, and this is a 2-word answer, but worth it. Like, I regret nothing from this experience. I've only been enriched in my life from doing it.
Hard work?
Very hard. Tedious, yes. So heartwarming, tedious, but enriching.
Yeah.
I'm not good with words. I don't know.
We'll have to have you make some art to describe your words.
It's difficult thinking of the original idea. That's the hardest part. But once you do it, it's kind of rewarding, and it's interesting to do the research on what you're doing to get deeper involved in it.
So difficult, rewarding, and interesting.
Yeah.
You did have the words. You had them in sentences. You just have the words. Well, I am so happy that you came on today and talked about your projects. I hope that we have lots of people listening, and I hope that people show up tonight to see your project and see your full project that you have, and I hope that, and hear about all the other projects that we have. So E106?
It's going to be E107.
107.
So we have 4 social justice distinction candidates, 2 global scholars, and then we have 2 that are doing both global scholars and social justice.
Fabulous. I'm excited about that. And thank you very much for coming on. I think it's really important to see what students are doing and how we are using our, resources for education to create these new projects that are going out into the world. And I hope you take yours out into the world. Don't hold back. We can have you in our little art room display your different projects. So, and have people come and look at that. So I'd be excited to see you there.
This one is going to be in the Point of View magazine coming this year.
Awesome.
So I'm excited about that.
Awesome. That's really interesting. So thank you for coming out. I appreciate your time. We're going to wrap it up. And this has been Global Education Unpacked. Big thank you to our guests. I'm very happy that you were able to make it into the studio, because it's nice to have people and kind of have this conversation in person. So we'll see Dr. B. So that's what you're, Corbin, and I said that right? And Danielle, thank you so much for being here and sharing your experiences. If you've enjoyed the conversation, please like and follow us on Instagram at Global Ed Unpacked. You can also catch a recorded show on our YouTube channel at Global Education Unpacked when I edit and put it in there. And hopefully find the audio version of on your favorite podcast platform. Global Education Unpacked is recorded at WHCN Radio at Harper College, produced by Matt Byrne, theme music by DJ Double Dip. The song is Mint. Thank you for listening, and until next time, keep exploring the world through education.